Welcome to CASA of Johnson and Wyandotte County's 2021 Promise of Hope event. We appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to connect with us today. As you may know, since 1985, CASA of Johnson and Wyandotte Counties has been providing support for children who have been removed from their homes due to abuse and neglect. It has been our mission to ensure that each of these children is assigned an advocate who looks out for their best interests and becomes their voice in court. This month in particular is an opportunity to bring attention to the overwhelming need for support for children in these difficult circumstances. Child Abuse Prevention Month recognizes the importance of communities working together to help families thrive and prevent child abuse and neglect. CASA is an integral part of this initiative, and we encourage each of you to join this effort. You will learn more about how you can help at the end of our program today. During this event, we will be sharing the stories of 3 amazing volunteers who have consistently demonstrated their passion for our mission and for the children we serve. Each of them has approached their role as an advocate in a different way, yet their compassion and commitment has clearly made a difference in the lives of each child they work with at CASA. Please join me in watching their stories.
The first case that I had was an adolescent girl who was 17, and the first time we met was actually on Valentine's Day at the Boys and Girls Club. And being Mrs. Valentine, on Valentine's Day, I decided I would take a goodie bag. And when we arrived, she was asleep and was not thrilled about being woken up. So it started out a little rocky, but when I presented the goodie bag, everything went smoothly. And we had a great conversation for about, 30 minutes or so about teenage girl stuff, hair and nails and boys. And it just kind of was an instant connection, which was wonderful. And after we met, I spoke with her former CASA, who said, that's the most I've ever heard her speak in the 2 years that I've been her CASA. So I think things are going to be good with you too. I spoke to her like an adult. She was 17 and she had been through things most adults haven't, and I hope never do. And talking to her very honestly and sort of meeting her where she was emotionally seemed to work. And I'm not there to be her parent. I'm not there to be her therapist or her teacher. I'm there to just listen and to say, like, what's going on? What's happening in your life? And by the way, I'm always going to pick up the phone and I'm always going to answer the text and I'm always going to be there. And I think once these kids realize that you are there for them specifically and you're not going to go away, they trust you because they can. A lot of times these kids they come from difficult situations. They come from trauma and they don't know how to exist without it. So a lot of times they create it themselves, and it's how to teach them to get out of that situation or how to exist and be content with a happy life because they don't honestly know what that looks like. Every single kid is different. And so when you're a CASA, you have to figure out what that kid needs, or, in my case, this adolescent young woman who is now out on her own. So part of what I wanted to do was prepare her to be out on her own. Now, we still have a relationship, which is wonderful. And she told me that she wants me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding, which is an honor. And I told her I'm going to be far too old to be doing that. But, I think you have to figure out what is it that connects you with that child and how can you best serve that child. I had to go through training, which was really, really well done. The CASA staff are incredible. They are a huge support to the volunteers. And everybody that's involved with this organization is passionate about helping kids. And if you want to help kids and you want to make your community better, this is the way to do it. The best part of being a CASA is being able to connect with another human being who maybe doesn't have an adult or has never had an adult that is always there and that always picks up the phone and that always cheerleads them and always makes them feel better about themselves when nobody ever has. She's taught me more about what it means to survive and what it means to try, what it means to get back up and, dust yourself off and try again than I could ever have given her. This experience has changed me as a human being.
Each child who is referred to CASA has dealt with unimaginable life experiences. These experiences make navigating day-to-day life a challenge. They need guidance to move forward and understanding as they experience setbacks. At CASA, we want to transform their outlook on life and surround them with the love and support they need to thrive.
When I first entered CASA, I was a little apprehensive because I was scared. You got to do a court report and there's a lot of stuff you have to do. And it's like, oh no, I don't want to have to do a court report. But the CASA training walks you through all that. They've got wonderful staff. If you have questions about resources for your kids or something you want to do with your kiddos, the staff is always there and ready to help you. So I didn't have any hesitation of signing up for my first class. And after training, within a week, I was calling CASA and saying, I'm ready for a case. My philosophy is I'm the court-appointed special advocate for the child. And I really stress the advocate part because oftentimes these kids don't have a voice and they don't think they can be heard. So I get to go in and talk to the judge about what the kid wants and be that kid's voice. I tell my kids I'm the blue donut guy. If you want a blue donut for breakfast every day of your life, I may not think that's the greatest idea in the world, but if that's what you really want, it's my job to advocate for you. So I'll go and tell people, this kid wants blue donuts every day. Whether I agree with it or not, I'm their voice. Each case and kid is different, so I kind of got to let them drive. If the CASA kid wants to sit at home and talk or play cards, we've done that. We've been to pizza, we've talked about going fishing. I'm currently trying to figure out where we can go get our nails done because she wants to get her nails done. It's just something different in their day. So whatever they want to do different in that day, that's what we do. The whole point of CASA is to reunify children with their parents. And in my first case, I got the opportunity to see that happen. So whenever you can see a kid that was in placement, go back with his parents, that's a wonderful, fantastic thing. In another case, my kid ran, just had enough and took off. And she wanted to talk to me when she got back, and she wanted to explain to me why she ran, and we had a conversation about it, and we pinky promised that she wouldn't run again. To establish trust with a CASA kid, you just gotta listen. And for her to open up to me and let me know what was going on in her life and what caused her to run, and for us to be able to process that, that's gold to me. When one of my kids messes up, I realize that I'm not the disciplinarian, I'm not placement, I'm not law, I'm just somebody that's gonna come and talk to them about what just happened to them. And I always tell them, I'm always gonna be your friend, I'm always gonna be your advocate. You can't stop me from being your advocate. When I think about CASA, I originally got in because I thought I was gonna help kids or children. I didn't know how, but I just figured I was gonna help kids. But at the end of the day, I think I'm helped as much as the kids are helped. I get to pour into these kids. I get to spend time with these kids. I get to help these kids know that it's okay. And so while technically I'm helping the kids, at the end of the day, I really think I'm helping myself. So anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a CASA because they want to go help kids, that's cool and all, but I think at the end of the day, you're really gonna help yourself, and I would encourage everybody to do it. I think I'll be a CASA volunteer as long as I have strength. So if I can come along 1, 2, 3, 5, 50, 1,000 kids, 1,000 would be awesome. I don't think I can pull that off. But however many kids I can help out, I'd love to help them out.
Each CASA advocate takes the time needed to build trust with their child. They strive to meet the child where they are at emotionally and help them feel comfortable with their support. The CASA advocate becomes the voice for their child in court and ensures that they understand the needs and interests of their child so they can make recommendations that move them towards permanency.
When I first started working with CASA, I wasn't quite aware of the passion that I would gain for the work. But over the years, I have really enjoyed it. It's been interesting, it's been a challenge. But here I am, 13 years later, still with CASA. They haven't fired me. So somewhere along the line, either they need volunteers desperately, or I must be doing an okay job. The kids can tug at your heartstrings really strongly. You get emotionally involved with these kids, and you got to realize that these kids have been removed from their home. They're placed in a foster home, a real change in their lifestyle. So it's been always a challenge for me to recognize where these kids came from, what their history has been, and for me to try and build a bridge with them so that we're going to be compatible and build our relationship. During one visit into a foster home, I was talking to a couple of the foster girls there, and I said, you know what we ought to do is we ought to go out and ride our bikes. And they looked at me with shock in their eyes like, I don't have a bike to ride. And I said, well, if I got you a bike, we'd go ride. Well, I've never ridden a bike in my life, they said. And of course, I probably looked goofy to them because my jaw dropped and thought, you're 14 years old, you've never ridden a bike in your life? So that was a quest I had to go on right then and there. Go out and find 2 bikes for these 2 girls so that we could go riding and build that relationship and build that bridge. And one thing led to another. One foster mom talked to another foster mom, and pretty soon I'm getting requests for bikes on a daily basis almost. I had been meeting with 3 young women for a good number of months, and we had built a good relationship. We played together. I learned how to hopscotch and jump rope with them, and then during this one meeting, the 3 of them came up to me and looked at me and said, "We don't have a father of our own, and we have a daddy-daughter dance. Would you be our father and take us to the dance at school?" I became really husky with emotion at that, but of course I said yes. And once I got these 3 girls in there, and one of them was real young, and she would dance she would put her feet on top of my feet, and we'd dance, and then the others would dance, and they just had a great time. More people should be aware of CASA and what they do. More organizations should be involved in CASA because it is a nonprofit, and it's important work that we do. The criteria that I look at or have heard used many, many times, if not you, who then? And that not only applies to an individual, but that applies to companies and corporations, because everybody can contribute to CASA and their goal. Because one of the sad facts are we continue to take more and more kids into the system every day. And that unfortunately costs a lot of money to take care of these kids, to do it right. So we do need a lot of people involved, not only giving time, but giving their support.
What makes a great CASA volunteer is a person who has a passion for children. Anyone who loves children, wants to make sure that children are safe, and that they want to equip and empower children to be a successful adult. We want our CASA volunteers to have a heart for children, to connect their passion with our mission of empowering abused and neglected children with a volunteer's voice in court by seeking that safe, permanent home for each child. I really feel like if people are able to connect with that, with our mission, then they would be a great volunteer. Becoming a CASA volunteer is a very important role. It's something that anyone can do. It's something that can change your life. Many times our volunteers come in to change the children's lives, and they do that. But so many of them have said over all of these years, 36 years of CASA in this area, that being a CASA volunteer has changed their life. And we think that's so important as well. Our volunteers, of course, are from all different areas of learning. Many of them are stay-at-home moms, some of them are retired, many of them are business professionals and they work full-time. And these volunteers are able to relate to the children. And so what we do is just take that information that they already have in life, and we have a 30-hour training. So our volunteers can train online, and we can make sure that they get the basic information so they are able to affect a good positive result for the children. Our volunteers are able to give even life skills for the children to make sure that they have the things that they need on a regular basis. Things that your children and my children thought were normal. Things like a birthday party, things like a new backpack and school supplies, things like gifts for the holidays. Our volunteers also contribute all of those things and make children feel that they can have a normal life. One of the children in a video that I saw said, "We're not like normal kids, like happy kids." Our volunteers want to make sure that children feel like they are normal kids, like happy kids.
The past year has been a challenging one for many, but particularly for the children in need of our care. The pandemic has complicated their lives more than ever, and CASA has doubled down on our efforts to provide hope for the children who are referred to us for support. Nancy, Tony, and Ballard have all found ways to continue their work despite these challenging circumstances, and this commitment means so much to our children. They know that their advocate is always there when they are needed, and that support keeps them focused on a positive, brighter future ahead. Imagine if we could give all children in Johnson and Wyandotte counties the help of an advocate so they might heal from their trauma, build resilience, and thrive. With more than 250 active CASA advocates, we are on our way to reaching that goal. This year, we will provide close to 500 children with a friend and CASA volunteer. Yet the number living in foster care or other out-of-home placement stands closer to 1,200 children. So there is more work to do to fill this need. There are many ways that you can help CASA provide hope for more children. You can become an advocate. Every year, there are more children who need support than we have volunteers to assign. Only about 1/3 of the children in the system are able to work with a CASA advocate. There are no specific requirements to become an advocate other than a heart for helping kids. We provide the training and ongoing staff support to guide you through the process. Contact us to learn more. For those of you who registered on our event site, you will receive an electronic interest form via email later today. You can also volunteer with CASA. In addition to becoming an advocate, we have many volunteer opportunities throughout the year. You can join Friends of CASA and plan activities for our kids. You can lead a drive in your community for needed items like backpacks, art supplies, hygiene kits, or sports equipment. You can use your skills to support our work. Reach out to find out how, or use the interest form you will receive. You can provide financial support to allow us to grow our impact. Give today, or join our Hope Society. $1,000 allows CASA to provide hope to another child by matching them with a CASA advocate who will guide them through the court process. $500 covers the cost of a training class, which will prepare between 10 and 20 new advocates to become the voice of a child in need. $100 provides enrichment opportunities for each child so they can have positive experiences to brighten their lives. $50 supports each child to excel academically by providing them with much-needed backpacks and school supplies. As you are watching at home, please use the donate page on the event website. The menu on the left-hand sidebar provides a link to the donate page. Here you will have the ability to donate directly to CASA of Johnson and Wyandotte counties, or donate alongside your team captain who encouraged you to attend today. You may also select to support us through our Facebook page at CASA JWC. We sincerely appreciate your support. We could not do what we do without the support of our amazing donors and partners. We'd especially like to thank our lead sponsors, Performance Contracting Group and Cerner Charitable Foundation. There are other important partners as well, and we wish to show our thanks to all of them. Thank you again for joining us for our Promise of Hope event. If you would like more information about how you can support our mission, please call 913-715-4040 or go to our website, casajwc.org. We look forward to hearing from you.